I feel like I have the biggest problem with that of like letting go, like releasing. My honest opinion is I don't want to be old and still trying. I think I'm still going for it really now, like identity crisis. Like, who actually am I? I wanted to be the front man. I think I screamed, fuck, like, fuck! You know what I mean? Like, oh my days, like. Bro, okay, so then what else did I say that might not happen? But like, do you reckon we're gonna be like 60 years old, like wearing Supreme, or going to the Supreme store still? And I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. Like, let me say this very carefully, yeah? You don't see like he's white, he's black, he's Asian, because we're all going to the same chicken shop. We're all shopping in the same JD. And that was like an identity crisis as well for a little bit. Okay, I keep using that word a lot. Maybe that should be the title of this thing, identity crisis, yeah? Understanding who you are, because that can breed like a lot of crazy cool stuff. I think last time I saw you had hair, fam. You thought aerodynamic. Yeah. What the fuck going on, man?
Oh.
So what's the consensus?
What do you mean? What do you want to talk about? Or
what's the consensus like? When I mean like is like what's the
what of Cocoa Pods?
Yeah.
Or just today?
What's in Cocoa Pods?
Well, Cocoa Pods is just me. Well, there's a few reasons for it. First of all, I started it because I was like, I think my main skill in life is... Yeah. I've always thought my main skill in life is like people.
Yeah.
Like I can speak to anyone at any point in any situation. I really enjoy it as well. Second of all, it's like I've always enjoyed podcasts, and it's like, well, if I enjoy it so much, why don't I just like make one myself? And even if it's like, because stuff like this takes so long to figure out. And I'm not, obviously I want it to be something, but I don't really know what I want it to be yet. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like fluctuating between things. In the beginning, I was just like, let me just invite some friends and just like have some fun with it. But now I'm a bit like, okay, cool. I'm kind of trying to make a bit more of an impact within the creative industry myself. So why don't I just talk about that for the time being? I'm sure it will change. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows? I might want to bring some like...
Do something else.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a good thing for me to like speak and just have interesting conversations. Because like... I've moved in here by myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't really speak to anyone. Like I see my friends obviously once in a while, but like one-to-one conversations, it's quite rare you actually have. You know what I mean? You just like sit down and like you properly dive into like whatever. So yeah, I think just growing up, you've realised just how important it is. Yeah, to
talk.
Just talk and just like kind of go through concepts and stuff. Because I mean, I don't need to talk about that. It's just like social media. It's just like you just see like such little snippets of like ideas and whatever, and then like they just like bubble up in your mind, but you never get to like actually talk through them. And so yeah, we're here.
Standard.
Mate, I've missed you, man. Haven't seen you in ages.
It's true. No, I haven't seen you in a long time. I think last time I saw you had hair, fam. Last time I saw you had hair, bro.
Yeah. Now it's shining.
Gone. It suits you though.
I like it as well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. I feel a lot more connected to my Bulgarian roots now.
You feel aerodynamic.
I do. Yeah, it's been a while. Obviously, musician.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I know you by, but at the same time, I feel like you're quite multidisciplinary, like in just like all the stuff you do. Yeah. And you've been doing music a long time, but I think you've had trouble sort of just penetrating the industry 100%. Properly. How have you found that like in the last few years?
It's like I feel like with the music thing, it's like very can be very fickle. Does that make sense? I feel like it's like, I don't really know how to word it. Because I love music so much, my output is like very restricted because like, as a creative, you know, like it has to be perfect or it has to be at a certain standard of how you feel like you want to deliver something or portray yourself. I feel like I have the biggest problem with that of like letting go, like releasing. That's my biggest like problem that I've noticed. Consistency is a big obviously thing as well. But if I could just overcome that process of actually like putting things out, I think I would overcome it. But I'm just never like, I never feel ready, or I never feel like this is done, or this could be better. Or I'll see something else and be like, why didn't I do that instead? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of different factors, but yeah, I think the main factor is just never having that release. I've noticed that when I do like creative stuff, like whether it's like a video or like graphic design or something, I have like way more of a like lower temperament. I can deliver this. Do you know what I mean? If I'm not even too happy with it, it can still go out. But with music, that can't happen. If I hear one ad lib or if I hear one word that I didn't say right or I didn't like, and then I change the word and then I'm like, I don't even like it anymore. Like the whole verse needs to go. I don't know. It's just like, maybe it's excuses. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's that.
Do you feel like the older you get, you have more pressure on yourself to for the release to be better, and then that pressure kind of becomes a bit paralyzing?
Yeah, because I think you learn a lot more. You know a lot more. You know what goes into it. You know, obviously that ignorance is bliss, isn't it? The more you know, the more like dangerous it gets. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. There's actually a saying or like a whatever like a couple words put together for that, but it's like the more you know, like the less you know, kind of thing. You realize like the deeper you dive into a subject, like music, for example, the more you dive into it, the more you're like, wow, there's like this hole is so much deeper.
So deep, yeah. It gets really dark, man. Really dark, bro. Yeah.
I remember like actually, I remember you saying something to me a few years ago. You were like, man, like, God, I don't want to be like an uncle 35 and like still rapping. How do you like? Do you still like feel? This is like must have been like 3 or 4 years ago, like when you were like 27, whatever. And do you kind of still feel that way? Like you don't want to kind of grow old and just like release like random songs or?
Okay, my honest opinion is I don't want to be old and still trying. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like, so I just touched 30 and I had like I think I'm still going through it really now, like identity crisis. Like who actually am I? Like who am I as a person, as a creative? Like what, not what's my purpose, but like what is man really, really on? Like what can I see myself doing for the next 25 summers? Do you know what I mean? And then when I weigh it all up, it's just like, my main focus is just to stay creative, stay passionate about creation, you know? And I feel like with the music thing, like it's not, I wouldn't say it's a young boy's game. I'm not going to say that. But in my eyes, it kind of is a young boy's game. And that doesn't like scare me away, but I feel like there's a certain level of rap that you have to, or a certain level of music that you have to produce at this age. I don't think you can make childish music at 30. It doesn't make sense, you know? You're not a child, so why are you making childish music?
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes in. It's like it's an ego check, you know? Because now I feel like at this age, man's actually teaching now. So if man listen to my music and that, you have to leave with something that you learn. Otherwise, what am I telling you? Do you know what I mean? What have you learned? What is this all for? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're trying to like tell a story rather than just like spit bars that sound nice.
Yeah. Like we all can do that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I can't.
No, I mean in the sense of, do you know what I mean? Like we all can.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I know what you mean.
We all can talk about going to a party, taking drugs, having sex with girls. Like we can do that. It's played out. It's rubbed. Like I don't really want to hear that no more. Like teach me how to fucking finance a house, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Teach me how to repay mortgages. Teach me how to do my taxes right. Like teach me these things, you know? Teach me that this actually is a trap. It's a big setup. You know what I mean? And I want to be that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, actually, I want to read something to you.
Yeah?
Yeah. But because also like, and when you said that identity crisis, because you'd gone obviously music, then you did a Twitch thing for a bit, and then a CasWorks, like you like jumping around. To be honest, I can relate a lot to it because I do the same. Like I go from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
And then I'm always like, oh, this doesn't work out. Maybe I should just jump to the next thing. This doesn't work out. Jump to the next thing. I don't know. In my head, it's like maybe the problem is just the jumping around rather than like
stay into it.
Stay
it's
like,
true.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
All right, I'm gonna read this out to you. Yeah. Sat thinking about all the things I want to achieve in life. I stopped and just accepted it. If I die a good person, I can teach people while I'm here on this earth. I've somewhat completed my self-destiny. I go through Instagram daily and see 1,000 materialistic things that I either would like to own or cannot afford. Does this make me less of a man? At one point, I almost believed it did. I personally felt devalued because all my hard work never bought me a Rolex or iced out chain. All them joints my man's rocking. I used to judge my success based off other people's rewards. I would sit for hours and think, why not me? What have I done wrong? What did I do to deserve this? And then it clicks. I'm a man of my own path, and I shall seek success and fortune in my own way, in my own time. I'm not searching for fame. I'm searching for legacy and stability. That's you, by the way.
I said that.
Yeah.
That's some deep shit, man. I said that shit. I did think like, right, did I say this? Something I thought I would say. Yeah, that still stands, man. That still stands. Like, because this is the thing I've had with this is the power that I've had with the creativity. Because it's like, my end goal is to be in the same space as everyone else, with the same drive, the same hunger. But I feel like my position is the fact that I wanted to be the front man. I wanted to be that guy, the guy that everyone came to. You know what I'm trying to say? And then like I kind of digressed, and I thought to myself like, it's a lot of pressure to be that person. Then I like reevaluated myself, and I feel like the aim is to be. I don't really care for glorification. I don't care if you praise like my name, like yeah, like he like. I think it's more about the influence that I want to have. So it's like, this is my new example of like what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be that guy that is in the same space as everyone else, and you might catch me and answer me like, oh, like what's your name? And I say, oh, my name's Cas. What do you do? Oh, I do this. I do this. Oh, okay, like have you got any think like that? You like what would I know? And you say something, and they're like, you did that. I'm like, yeah. That is what I'm on. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, or if I can say to you, do you remember? And you're like, yeah, I remember that. Like, yeah, I made that. I created that. That's what I need. That's what I feel I'm looking for now. That's what I'm aiming for. Like just that's like, I can't think of the word. It's just that like staple creativeness that actually changed something, or it developed something, or it started something. I feel like that's what I'm craving right now as a creative. Do you know what I mean? To be able to be like, you know that thing? Yeah, I made that still. And I feel that's what I'm searching for right now. Or trying to make, or create, or be a part of. You know? History.
Yeah. What is that in your own eyes? Like is that anything creative? Like it could be music, could be a poster, could be a video, could be anything, man, anything, short film, anything that stood the test of time. Yeah, you know what I mean. If you meet someone if you meet someone tomorrow and they're like, yeah, I was the DOP for Kidulthood, you'd be like, what? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what? You'd use a DOP for Kidulthood? Like, yeah, like I was like the cinematic photographer for this, or like I did this, or I designed the poster for Top Boy. Like, not saying that's like this is all like mad hood shit, but I mean in the sense of like our culture, like that is a very big thing. I don't know who made the poster for Top Boy. Do you know who that is? I don't know who that is. No. But if I meet him, I will make sure that he's aware that you're a fucking legend, bro. I'm trying to say like you actually did that shit, and I feel like that's what it is. It's things that matter, man. A lot of things do not matter. You know what I mean? At all. And I feel like that's what I'm trying to find, like that matter. What matters? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard trying to find what matters, especially like whenever you're trying to pursue something within the creative industry, because then like a lot of it is like comparison, and as well, like, you know, comparison is like the killer of joy. It's like
100%.
It's real hard to just be like stay in your own lane and do stuff, and then just be happy with kind of your creation, because like a lot of what you're saying is like, it's important to create stuff, but like it's really important to actually just get some external feedback from just the world. You did this, because I think a lot of times it's like people are like, all you need is just like, you need to feel happy with your own work. But it really fucking helps if someone comes up to you and like says, without them even like being your friend or something, because you know it's not biased. Do you know what I mean? Because your friends like nice. Hopefully they give you some critical feedback. But I think it's really important, like, because like the last couple of years or so, I've been diving into like more like business stuff and how like just how people succeed and stuff. And like one thing that keeps popping up like again and again, it's like, it's not about like having like one big success or one big win. It's like what tends to like work with for most people that like actually make it is like having like just little wins that just like keep them going. Because like it is hard.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard to
it
just
is,
keep
it is.
yourself motivated without having any sort of like good feedback from the world, or any feedback at all. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Because that's even worse. So just having like a bit of like, that was nice, or that was good. That itself can just push you in a direction to just make something.
Yeah.
Because quite often, for example, like in YouTubers will, before they get big, they'll like be all over the place and they'll do a video on this niche or that subject. And then what ends up happening is one of those videos will get more views than the previous ones. And they'll automatically be like, okay, that got some good feedback. I'm going to do more of that. More of that. So it's like your creative output and your personality gets built upon what, you know, how you impact the people around and how they funnel that sort of energy into it. It's like, yeah, I like that. Can you do more of this? And you're like, oh yeah, well, why not? You know, like if it works, like gives me energy because it's like it's giving you something.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like that sort of there needs to be some sort of external like.
Yeah. You have to feel good about it as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say, you have to feel good about the creativity. Like, there's nothing worse than working on something just for a check. You know, like that's probably one of my worst things like that I've done. That I feel like that's the real definition of selling your soul. Like doing something that you actually don't want to do for money. I feel like that's it. That is it. You know what I mean?
Dignity, yeah.
Yeah, that is it. Like, that is it. It like, you feel like a flipping, you just feel a bit
empty.
Yeah, a bit soulless, you know?
Yeah.
I've done a lot of it though. I've done a lot of it. And it's funny because majority of the things that I have done that have been like that pay the most. You know, the stuff that I don't want to do, that's the stuff that probably will pay for everything. Do you know what I mean? Stuff that I do want to do is probably like a favor or like some kind of like helping hand, you know?
I don't think it has to be like that though. I don't know. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out myself as well, because there's stuff I've done that I haven't really liked, but I got paid decent. But then at the same time, I've had the opposite as well, that I have done stuff that has been paid decent as well. So it's just trying to figure out that balance between like the two. Do you know what I mean? Because I do think quite often like you associate money with like, you know, a lot of money with like soulless work. I don't think that has to be the case.
Yeah.
Because because the thing I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to change my career a bit. Like I've been a videographer, or whatever, people like cinematographer, editor, director, I've been everything in the video world. And like I've come to realize like up until now, it's just kind of seeing what the difference is between being a commodity and being like a return on the investment of whoever's hiring me. Like up until now, basically all I've done is just be a commodity, which how I see it is basically a client comes to you and just says, can we have this thing? And then you just say, yes, how much does it cost? What's your budget? And then you just do it, rather than actually diving into like, oh, what does this product I'm going to give you, what does that mean for you? Do you know what I mean? How is that actually going to change your business? What's that going to bring for you? Because then you actually understand the impact of what you're making, and it doesn't feel soulless. Because quite often, like I've done stuff before where it's felt soulless, but it's felt soulless because I've had no accountability of like, why am I making this? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do you need this thing? And then it gets used, and I'm just not connected to it. But what I'm finding now is actually, you know, if a client comes and then we actually have a conversation about like, okay, how much money is this thing gonna make you potentially? Like, how much more do you want this to make you? Or, you know, just very broad. But like, and then you go, okay, so maybe you can spend 10% of that on actually making the thing, you know, and then you get an X percentage on your return on your investment. Because then you've spent like, say you've spent $1,000 on making like a video. You want to get back $3,000 or $4,000 in like whatever, if you're selling shirts or something, you know, there has to be, and that feels a lot more fulfilling now because I kind of understand it. And I think before it would have felt soulless if I just didn't know. And a lot of stuff did feel soulless because I didn't know what impact it made. Do you know what I mean? I feel like what you're saying is really true. It's like, a lot of stuff that pays good is soulless.
Yeah.
But I think it's quite important to just actually like just change the definition of it a bit, of like, okay, like not necessarily change the definition, but actually dive and like why does it feel soulless?
Yeah.
Because if you feel, I feel like sometimes all I need to feel the opposite of soulless, soul.
Yeah. yeah. Have a soul. Yeah.
Have a soul. Is just to know that what I'm making is having a positive impact on who I'm giving it to. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. It just like I've always been like, in my culture as well, it's very like, it's a very helping culture. You know what I mean? So it's very like transactional. I'll come help you build the floor in your flat, and then you come help me fix my boiler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And quite often, like, people just get a lot of like satisfaction just from giving.
Yeah.
And I think actually, because when you give, you realize you're helping someone. And I think that also works like in creative as well. Because, if I go and help you and I actually don't know what I'm helping you with, it just feels just like...
Yeah, it could be a disaster. No, I get exactly what you're saying. And that happens a lot, man. And I feel like even just being on the other side of this creative spectrum, a lot of people who are in these powerful positions that actually dictate what should be created are not even creatives. They don't even know how to hold a camera. They don't know what even ISO means. They don't know anything.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though. Like, I'm coming to that realization now.
You don't think it's a bad thing?
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Why don't you think it's a bad thing?
Because I think, like, if you're, for example, if you're the strategist, if you're the one that's coming up with the whole thing, you shouldn't, like, you should just be able to delegate those roles.
Okay.
Like, if you're like the agency, and you speak to a client, I don't think you should be discussing like, oh, I'm going to be shooting on that camera, or we're going to be shooting on the drone. I think the only thing that matters is like, is this going to work for you in terms of like, is this going to make you money? So in one way or another? Is this going to boost your business? Do you know what I mean? Because that's what all it is. Every piece of creative work is, unless you're like a true like fine artist or whatever, it's, and that strategist, his role is just to come up with the overall concept and just to see it all from above, and then he's able to hire people to sort of do the individual parts way better than he could do himself. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of like quite often directors. I feel like a lot of directors, like good directors, they don't really know that much about like camera settings or whatever. Like one of my close friends, Katie Burden. Actually, it's her birthday tonight.
Katie Burden.
Yeah. Like she's one of the most successful like creatives I know. Okay. And she's like, no offense, Katie, but she's got no clue about technical stuff. Like no clue. Not no clue. Do you know what I mean? She's, she knows ISO and aperture, whatever. But like up until like not quite recently, but like that's not what she was. It's not what she was interested in. It's all she was interested in. Actually, what's in front of the image? How is this going to work? And how's
it feel? How's it look?
Exactly. So sometimes I don't feel, because I hear that, and I was in the same mindset before as well. I used to think, oh, like these people don't know anything about creating. They're not like, like you said, ISO aperture. They've got no idea. And I do think it's important. I do think it's important to know the basics. But actually, if you're just the one that's making it happen, and if you're just looking at it from above as like a business, it's much more important to know that how it's all going to come together rather than just like the individual just pieces of detail. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but do you feel like that takes away from like the creativity of it? Like when I say that, I mean, so it's like, I don't know how to explain this. Do you think the owner of BMW knows how to fix a car?
Well, there's probably lots of owners of BMW.
Well, like, let's I don't know, hypothetically speaking.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. He probably has, like, I'll tell you something crazy, actually. Yeah. I was playing beach volleyball the other day.
Yeah, so as you do.
As I do, in London. Who knows? And wild shit happened. So I went in, I started playing, and it was kind of like a free for all, like you pick a partner, you play, and whatever. And this guy, he was in his 50s, like American dude. Yeah. He's like, came up to me. He's like, oh, you got a partner? I was like, nah, let's play. He was like, good shape. We started playing. He was American. I was like, started chatting. What brings you to London? He was like, oh, crazy story. You won't believe me. Blah, blah, blah. And I like, trying to push him. Like, what do you like? Like, what's up?
I'm a murderer.
Yeah. And he was like, no, I've moved from Miami to London.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, how come? He was like, I'm the new CEO of Chelsea.
CEO of Chelsea.
CEO of Chelsea.
Okay, lit.
I was like, what? Like, what are you doing? He was like, well, I'm just here, just being brought in to just basically the company I work for, like bought Chelsea. So I just automatically just became the CEO. So I'm just come down. And so his whole life he's been working in tech, just buying and selling companies in tech. He was like, I don't know anything about football.
Yeah,
He's like, that's not my job. My job is just to keep the ship running and just to like actually see it from above, how it all works, ticket sales, blah, 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 all this as like an overarching thing. He's like, I really don't like football is just not my thing, but I'm good at business. I'm really good at business and making stuff grow and the whole thing. So like, I think the people that actually running stuff, like there's a reason why they're there. And there's a reason why they don't really spend too much time thinking about the little things that like, yes, they are important, but actually there's a way bigger picture. And then if you know how to like delegate, oh, I know the really good person that can do that, a really good person that can do that, I'll let them do what they're good at, and then I'll just oversee it as a whole thing. So, you know, CEO of Chelsea like doesn't really care about football, and so it's like, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if that bothers me or not. I'm not sure. I'm like, this shouldn't bother me. Like, it's not like it's gonna fucking ruin my sleep, but I don't know, man. It
doesn't sit right.
Nah, it doesn't sit right with me, man. Because then it's like these people are responsible for cultures that they're not even involved in as well. Then that means that you could be a white man from Germany running a black company because you know better business. That doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? Just because you know like analytics and you know business doesn't mean that you should be anything to do with this, unless you culturally or you actually believe this is it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying white people can't believe it, black shit. I'm not saying that.
No. Yeah, I know what I'm trying to say. You're just like, so. Yeah, go on.
You know what I mean? Like, do you think like, I don't know, like I feel like the reason why I'm learning what I'm learning now, or producing what I'm producing now, or picking up cameras and I'm getting my hands dirty is because I never want to send a man on a mission that I'm not willing to do myself. Do you know what I mean? Before I didn't know too much. Okay, let's take it back. See, when we shot Be Easy, right? I had a lot of technical input because I understood what it would take to create this. And when me and you spoke about it, I felt like I wouldn't say sympathy, that's not the word, but I had understanding. If Coco tells me, no, you can't do this, I actually know why we can't do this. I've noticed that when I tell people who are not creatives, no, I can't do this, they always have some kind of rebuttal because they might have seen it somewhere else. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying that we can't do this. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this is where this like, I don't know, because when I have worked with people who are creatives and they do understand, and we have the conversation like, I don't really feel that'll work because maybe the space is not right or the lighting's not right or I don't really feel it's going to work. And then we speak about it on a technical base level of I understand and you understand. It always goes smooth. When you're dealing with people who don't understand, like for example, I can't remember, it's like I was shooting something one time and the area of the space was black. Like there was no light. It was awful. I've already proposed that we should rent lights. I've already proposed these things. It was like, no. Bro, this girl said to me, is it possible to make the pictures any brighter? My shutter speed was on like max. My ISO was on like max. Now it's grainy as hell, yeah? And I'm like, nah, like there's nothing we can do here. There's no light. This girl said to me, well, I can shoot it on my iPhone and it looks fine. So why can't you do it on your camera? You know what I mean? From then I realized, oh, okay. Like, we're really in a fucked up position right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're really in a fucked up position right now. Because you don't understand this technical side of it. So you just feel like, oh, because it can be shot on an iPhone, because like everything's automatic and like has like way more different boundaries and shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Process the images.
That I can't do my job because the iPhone can. Do you know what I mean? I think that was the start of it when I realized, oh no, like these people are running like big campaign. This is for a big campaign I'm doing right now. This is for like some serious shit. You know what I mean? And this is who's kind of running it. And it's just, I don't know, it scared me a little bit. I think that's probably why I started CasWorks, if I'm honest with you. So I could be that person who can actually, you know, like I feel like if someone was to employ me for a job or something, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Cultural value, like technical value, do you know what I mean? Production, there's a lot of stuff that I think about to enhance this project or whatever I'm doing. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in the upper echelon, I don't think that's accounted for. I feel like they actually hire people like us to do that.
Yeah.
You know, validate their thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's all about just making money, I guess. But it's like also I think it's a big part of like doing stuff like that is just really, it's like, I mean, like one of the main skills I think as a creative that everyone just trying to make it
Make money,
industry.
yeah.
No, it's not it's make money, but it's client expectations. Just like actually knowing how to be like, just speak to a client and be like, you know, like, if we shoot here, it's actually just not going to work. Mm-hmm. And like, you just have to trust me. Mm-hmm. And like, and you know, people sometimes don't want to listen, and people like, you know, like in your situation where like, you know, you propose lights and stuff.
It's not part of our budget.
Yeah. It's like, well, okay, well, we got to change it. And, you know, it's something has got to be done because like, because also it's like from their side, it's like they don't really like, you know, that's why they hire you. Just make it look good, make it look like, you know, like it's good. So yeah, client expectations, like it's a really tricky skill. Yeah, really tricky. And I've seen people that are really good at it, and I've seen people that are not good. Yeah, and it can be really like a make or break thing. And actually, like people that are not that good creatively but know how to manage expectations, they can absolutely make a killing.
Smash it,
smash it.
I think that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to learn the business, be a bit more chill, man. I think I'm too intense sometimes. Yeah. When it comes to that stuff, because I really care about it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that can seem like don't know, maybe a little bit arrogant, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Turning 30 is a bummer, bro. You have to really
ego kicks in.
Really look inside yourself, man. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And I've been doing it a lot. I've only been 30 like a couple of days, if I'm honest with you. Hasn't even been that long. Hasn't been a month yet. But I don't know. Something happened, man. Something just clicked in my head and was like, I think I screamed, fuck. Like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, oh my days. Like,
midnight hit and you're like, whoa.
Fuck, I'm 30. Like, damn. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And like, it just all started unfolding. Yeah, I really think this year is about like looking inside, man. Fulfillment. I'm trying to be fulfilled, man. Yeah. And I'm still gonna do music. I still am gonna do music.
Yeah.
And I still.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. And that's like. Yeah, I would still love to be. Yeah. A musician. I would still love to be a rapper. I would still love to make music. I would still love to do that stuff. But as of now, I just feel like the place I'm in, I don't think the music would be. It would be might be a bit too sad, if I'm honest with you. Yeah. If I'm honest with you.
Yeah, sometimes, you got to express your feelings one or another, but
yeah,
I think you can do it, man. You're like, in my eyes, you've always been a great musician. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I think you know that, and people tell you that, but I want to tell you as well.
Not anymore, actually, to be fair. No, it's a bit phasal, isn't it? It's because it's like you only judge it for last, isn't it? So if I do ballet tomorrow, I do ballet now. If I do karate tomorrow, I'm karate. If I do, I'm just gonna say, no one knows anything different. So I feel like right now, I don't feel like my name is ringing bells in music. I don't think people even think I do music anymore, if I'm honest with you. So if you watch this podcast,
he does music.
Man, do music, man. Man's a rapper, bro. I'm creative first though. I'm a creative first, and that is what, man, I'm spending my time focusing on right now, is being creative, so that when I end up doing my thing, it has just full waves, you know? Just everything, top to bottom, it's just wavy shit.
You have to, like, you owe it to yourself, do you know what I mean? Because you're good at what you do. You just got to keep pushing. Like, it takes a long time, like, I remember like when I was younger, it was like 18 or something. I was like, to my parents, like, I'm going to buy you lots like Range Rovers by the time I'm 25.
Yeah, 25.
Wow, I've got like, it's like,
I never got
like minus 2,000 in my bank account.
Yeah.
And then you realize like life doesn't go at the pace like you intend it to. Do you know what I mean? It's hard.
How do you feel about age?
Age,
Is there a limit? Is there a cap on things, do you think?
nah, I don't feel like there's a cap on things, but I feel like in the last 2 years, my perspective has changed a lot. Because up until then, I was very chill. I was like, I'm kind of gonna go with the wave, like go with the flow, see where things take me. But in the last 2 years, I've been like, I need to like grab life by the balls and like fucking
really go for it.
because things just won't happen. I've been like, I have been doing stuff. It's not like I haven't, but it's become a lot more apparent to me to be like, okay, like I'm just the older you get and the more you interact with like people like above you and you see the world and you're like, wow, like, I don't want to be like these people. You know what I mean? There's so much. There's ways to go about life where your later years do not have to be like hell. Like health, wealth, relationships. Do you know what I mean? All those things are like completely manageable, but you have to start early. You can't just be like get to 40 and you're like,
I want to look after myself now.
You have like it's got to be a thing where like obviously the earlier you start the better, but at the same time it's like, you have to everyone figures it out differently. And for me it was like, I think like end of 26, I'm 27, like I was like, okay, cool, like I need to like step it up now. Do you know what I mean? I really need to step it up because like COVID happened and then sort of life sort of just like went. Do you know what I mean? I was like just completely just like it was like I was having a good time at the time, but I just realized like, okay, and I don't want to say like it was time wasted because it depends how I define that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't make much progress like creatively or career wise, but I had a really great time with my friends, and it was like time I'll always remember. But now this is like the reason why I've moved here. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm reaching nearly 30. Like, I wanna step it up. Like, I've got now's my time. I don't have that many responsibilities. I don't have a family. Don't have like like anyone to like be responsible of. So it's like I've got to. It's my time, So I feel a lot more pressure on myself. Every day I'm like scheming.
No, that's what you have to be on that. You have to be on that. And I don't know, like I don't know, maybe it is a 30 thing. Everyone I talk to who's recently become 30 has really like thought about that, like on a different level. I have conversations with a lot of people about this. It's like a lot of it's expectation. Like you said already, innit? When you was 18, you told your parents at 25, I'm going to buy you this and that. Then you hit 25 and you realise, I can't even afford to even go on a tube, let alone buy a Range Rover. And then you kind of like, not doubt your thing, but it's just like, okay, so then what else did I say that might not happen? Then you get in that little rut of like, I'm never going to be nothing, you know what I mean? And then you could stay in that for a while, man. You could stay in that little rut for a while. I feel like I was in that rut for a while of things just not going my way, and I just didn't understand why until I took a step back and realized like, like you probably could do a lot more for yourself, Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I left a lot of things in other people's hands to control, and I felt like if I just did it myself, it probably would have worked out. And that's when I started realizing, okay, cool, so you have to control that then. You have to control this narrative, innit? Because if you don't, other people will just tell it how they think or tell it how they tell their story about it. And I'm too like nonchalant to even. Sometimes it's just better for you not to hear my side of the story. Sometimes that's how I feel. Like, you know what, just I don't really care. And then that's the older I'm getting, it's just more changing. I feel like no, you can't let people do that, because you don't know what conversations people are having when you're not in the room. And if you don't say your side of the story, that is the story. You know what I mean? I don't think that's nice, especially if it's wrong or it's not what happened. Do you know what I mean? Or it's not how it went. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's where I'm at right now. Just fucking trying to get this bag, bro. So what's new then? What's the next step?
For me, agency.
Agency, yeah? What, production agency? What are you doing?
Creative agency.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just trying to slowly figure that out. just trying to take more of a business approach to this whole thing. Like, I've been in the industry for like 8 years now. I've been in freelance for like 8 years. And I've seen a lot, and I feel like, all right, I've seen enough now where I feel comfortable to just like step it up a gear. Like I don't like I told you, like I don't want to be, you know, like commodity to where I just get hired. Oh, can you shoot this? Can you shoot that? I actually want to be like strategizing, like coming up with content plans. Like how is this whole thing going to work together? How we can make this work as a whole for your brand, and just like go from there. Like I really, to be honest, like now I'm more interested in business than I'm in
creative.
Like, well, because I see it as just as creative. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to be, because really all it is to be a business or an entrepreneur is you're just a problem solver. It's just why people hire you. We've got this problem. Can you solve it? That's all it is. And I haven't really got to that point yet, but hopefully by the end of the year, like I'll be sort of like
pattern that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But obviously trying to like do this, you know, the podcast, trying to kind of build my own brand around it, just kind of still experimenting, to be honest. Like I say this confidently, that's what I'm going to be doing. But like,
but it's
it's just like, I don't know.
You better do it, bro.
I have to. So yeah, like, and to be honest, it's good I'm here because it's like I just have time to think. You know, whenever I'm not getting distracted by like YouTube or whatever. But like, you know, I'm trying to just like minimize my distractions. So I just like just stay good and like.
Why did you start the newsletter? Why did you start that?
Why did I start that?
Yeah.
I started it.
I read it like every time it drops. I read it.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually read the whole thing as well, and I'm very like I take it in. Yeah, it helps. It does help. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it. It. It's nice to like hear some feedback. I wanted to get better at writing, so I took a writing course. And then part of the writing course was like, you know, like a newsletter is a really good way to practice your writing, like basically every week. And I was like, yeah, great. Like, because if I don't write this newsletter, there's, you know, because it's a lot goes into it. It's like, you know, it's like marketing copy, like how people write persuasive like writing and stuff. You know, you have to start with attention, then you have a bulk, and you have a call to action, but then also everything in the middle. How do you keep people interested? It's all part of like the same thing where it's like, okay, like I'm trying to build a creative agency that the focus of it is copy, as in like marketing copy, like marketing writing, to like how to like, you know, make people follow up on things. And the creative newsletter, the newsletter is kind of a vehicle just for me to like get better at writing, but also actually try and maybe like, not maybe, but trying to build a brand around it as well. Just kind of be part of one of the things I do. Because I think quite often, like as a freelancer, as a creative, you feel lonely. Do you know what I mean? You feel lonely. You feel like sometimes you make mistakes and you feel dumb about it, especially when you're beginning. So I think that's kind of, before it was, you know, it's the Creative Mondays. Now it's the Creative Journal, where it's just kind of for creatives to kind of feel a bit less lonely in their journey. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. Because there's group chats and there's like some unions and whatever, but really there's not that much where creatives kind of like share their problems all the time. So kind of it's a way for me to express myself, just stay consistent, and hopefully provide some value to like whoever's reading it.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
And do you think it's doing well?
Well, I'm not really trying to think about metrics at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It shows, but it's not that many people. I think it's like 40 people or something read it. So, if you get 40 people in a room, it's quite a lot.
That's what I always say.
Do you know what I mean? But if people in here, there's a lot of people. But actually, if you just see it, 40 people in the thing,
it doesn't seem like a lot.
But it just depends how you look at it. But for me, it's not that. It's just, for me, it's just about, for the time being, is just stay consistent with it and just get better at writing. Yeah. That's the goal. Do you know what I mean? And just improve bit by bit. Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, no, I like it. I really think it's cool. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. I
think it is for people who are in a bit of a sticky one.
Yeah. And I try to be as honest as possible, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. But I think that's probably because I know you. I feel like if you was to not know you and read it, I still feel like you would understand that you are being honest. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Keep doing it, please.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. I will do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Some external feedback.
Yeah. It's sick. It is sick. I do like it.
Yeah. You said you had some questions.
I do have some questions. Bro.
Let's hear it.
Where did I put next year. What's your 5-year plan?
My 5-year plan?
Yeah. If you haven't got one, don't say nothing.
Well, I've got something, but it's not really 5 years. It's like...
It's 20 years.
Like, I've got a plan, yeah. But it's not... I'll write stuff on big, makes it a bit easier. So... Well, a few things. Personal brand. So like this, basically this, the podcast, the newsletter, my Instagram, my YouTube, the agency.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that I want to kind of like
Focus on.
Yeah, be the vehicles. But then they like do kind of overlap because at the same time I want to learn. So it's agency, content, learn, document, and grow audience. And then it's my agency is a combination of like learning, which is the podcast, because I want to get people learn from other people and kind of implement that, which then is also content, which is growing my personal brand. And then just documenting the whole thing as I'm going it, which also grows the personal brand and also hopefully is a vehicle for my agency as the agency's marketing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it like brings people to the agency.
Makes sense.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He did this.
Yeah, he did this. And then, this agency is connected to this person. And just hopefully did the podcast and all the content that I do. There starts to be like a bit of an association with the whole thing. So yeah, I think that's the plan.
Okay. What was the other one I had? What do you do to relax?
To relax.
Yeah.
What do I do to relax? Well, my absolute go-to entertainment is YouTube.
Yeah.
Always has been. I don't like Netflix and stuff like. I don't have a TV. I don't. It's conscious. Like the least amount of distractions around me. But YouTube is definitely like my entertainment vehicle. I've always been into it. I've always followed loads of people, but I've got to be careful because I've got to set times and like do it when I want, because I easily get distracted. And just watch shorts or just like
Next minute it's now it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I've done nothing.
Yeah, well, I'm quite good at that now.
Yeah.
Like I try to be in bed by like 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every day?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every
Wake
day.
up at what time?
Say again?
What time do you wake up?
Like between like 6:30 and 7:30.
And what's the first thing you do after you wake up?
First thing, it varies. Right now, I drink half a liter of electrolytes and then go for a walk.
Half a litre of electrolytes and go for a walk. Yeah, gang. I like that.
Today I went for a run.
So what is that? Explain that to people. What's that?
Electrolytes?
Yeah, this is my podcast now, man. Just to let you know this is my podcast.
Electrolytes it's just like the driving. It's basically what you need to survive, as in like in terms of like nutrition.
Yeah.
It's magnesium, potassium, sodium. I think there's another one. But basically it's just like it's like when you sweat, that's what you sweat out. Do you know, like if people get lost on islands and whatever, and you see them going crazy, it's quite happens in films. It just means that they just haven't had salt because they run out of salt and just the whole body shuts down. Salt is like basically one of the most important.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
So especially because I work out a lot. I work out like every day. Like I either gym, volleyball, or like some sort of cardio. So that's also how I relax. That's what makes me relax. You know what I mean? That's kind of how that's what I have to do. Also to feel good about myself. You know, I can't go without working out and feeling good about myself. Like it's just, that's just how I've been my whole life. Do you know what I mean? I like to be a bit more accountable to myself. It's quite a lot of pressure. It can be paralyzing sometimes, but I rather a bit that way than not. It's just kind of just what I'm used to. Yeah. But what I do in the morning does vary. You know, it used to because my mornings are my favorite time of the day.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
So I have like a few things, like I can't access anything on my phone until 11. I've got an app that just blocks all my apps apart from like calling and like WhatsApp and like emails.
It blocks it.
It just blocks it. I can't access it. My computer, phone is all connected, so like I can't access Instagram, Twitter, nothing. Like
before 11.
Before 11, yeah.
Okay.
Just because like it's my most productive time of the day. So it varies. Like I used to like wake up and just work straight away. I literally just go on my computer and just work for like an hour or two, and I actually get so much done. But it doesn't happen all the time. Yeah. So it varies, to be honest. Like my routine does vary a bit, but morning is where most of my day happens. Yeah.
Is that important to you, routine?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have to. I absolutely combust with that one. Okay. Just like I don't know what to do. I don't know how, like, because especially when I feel lost within my creative journey, especially when right now I don't have like, this is what I'm doing. Like this, I'm going down this tunnel. It feels, the more I do it, the more the tunnel tightens, and I kind of have more of a direction. But if I don't have a routine where I tell myself, at this time I'm doing this, and at this time I'm doing that, I just won't.
Yeah, you freeze.
I just won't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like one of my favorite books is a book called Atomic Habits.
Okay.
It talks about like how like disciplined people and like routine, like people that have routines and stuff, and like people that are highly motivated aren't actually much more disciplined or highly motivated than your average person. Or the only difference is they just make their life as easy as possible to be disciplined and to be in routine. So if, for example, it's like having like a schedule, having like you do like a bit of a planning the day before, so you know what you're doing the next day, so it takes the least amount of effort. When I wake up, I should already know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to, if I wake up and I don't know what I'm doing today, there's a way higher chance of like me just absolutely wasting the day, the whole day. So I just try and make my work life as easy as possible. So that's why I have my apps blocked. That's why I'll go out, do some exercise. It helps me so much. Without those things, I just fall apart. You know, like just to feel sane. I have to do a lot of stuff to just like feel normal-ish. Do you know what I mean? So routines are like really important for me.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't think I have things that I do, but getting up and drinking electrolytes and going for a walk, it's not really my portion.
Yeah, that one's a bit extreme. That one's a recent one.
I guess that's like a... But wait, hold on a minute. Where'd you get this from? Like a dealer? You get your electrolytes from a dealer or something? Like, how does this work? Like
Amazon.
So you buy it? Is it powder or is it like...
Yeah, it's powder.
Okay.
Powder, you just put it in a bit of a drink and then it's nice. It's like lemonade.
Okay, good. Maybe I should get my head in some electrolytes. Yeah, I think that's what it is right now. I think I'm trying to find like a method of safe working, because right now it's just like I'm a bit all over the place. I don't really say no to a lot neither. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to do everything. And then that leads me to being up at like 4 a.m, working till God knows whatever hour, waking up at God knows whatever time. Like, and I feel like in the creative industry, that's meant to be like deemed as normal, but that's not normal.
It's not.
It's not. It's really not normal. It's really not normal. It's not.
Yeah, it's not normal. It's not healthy. And it's just not productive.
Yeah, it's not.
Like because I've done that, you know what I mean, plenty of times. But like the more I've tried to become a professional at what I do, the more I realize actually how important it is to just have like a set time where I work. I don't this. It doesn't happen every time, but if I just sit down for like 3 hours, I get, and I have no access to social media. And I just sit down. I get
so much done.
I get like 2 days of work done in like 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? If I just focus, obviously, it's all, I can't edit 2 days of work in 3 hours. But like if I'm just focused and I have like, I'm doing this and that. Yeah. And I like set timers, so I work for like 30 minutes, take a 5-minute break, 30 minutes, 5-minute break. It's amazing how much work I get done. And like, because it's like we just live in a world of where like our attention is like an actual currency that every platform's fighting for. Do you know what I mean? So there's like, I remember when I was younger, I used to I was like, all right, like I feel like I'm disciplined enough to not go on my Instagram. I feel like I'm disciplined enough to not go on Reddit and whatever. But then at some point, I kind of just accepted defeat in terms of like, I can't fight $1 billion algorithm that's literally built.
It's made to destroy you.
It's made to like, just like, just use me.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point I was like, okay, there's some battles I don't need to fucking fight. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I actually ended up quitting social media for a year. I didn't go, basically no social media. And then when I've come back, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I got sucked straight back into it. So now that's why I've had to implement all this, like, these apps.
Locks and chains.
Yeah, locks and chains where I just can't access it because as soon as I face any little problem, my first instinct is Instagram. You know what I mean? My brain doesn't want to, we always choose the path of least resistance. Yeah. But if that path is not there, then you have to solve the problem. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I've got to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. The minute I feel like a hiccup or something, it is straight on my phone Yeah, that's true, man. That's true, man. What questions have you got for me? Any more questions for me? How do I remain so wavy? Do you know
it's
funny you asked that, you know, bro. It's funny you asked that, you know, bro.
It's not even a joke. Actually, one of the things, I remember I remember when I first came into the industry, and I used to see like guys like you, guys like Ashley, Jay Gray, whatever, just like mad cool, like people in it.
My beloveds,
just like cool people. And I used to think, wow, like I need to be cool. Do you know what I mean? I used to feel pressure like when I came in, like all these people, they look cool, they act cool. I was like, I don't know what that is. Like I'm just this little like Bulgarian boy coming in, and like I don't have like, because I've moved around so much, like my personality is not formed. Do you know what I mean? I kind of have something, but I'm like Kakashi from Naruto. Do you know
I get what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just like everyone at the same time.
And you're not English. It's a whole different culture. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not your thing. Like so, it's probably even hard to navigate. If I'm honest with you.
And like I remember just thinking, I need to be cool. But then more obviously, I grow up. You realize like what is cool? Cool is like such a term that's like
it's rinsed.
It's rinsed, and it's like it's not what people think it is. Do you know what I mean? When I was younger, cool. It was just like
an image almost.
Image and like, but actually, it's just how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like for me. That's the only thing. It's like I don't know why I'm asking because I'm just answering the whole question.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, like how do you define cool?
Cool. How do I define cool? How would I define cool? I think that's just cool to me. The people who I find cool are the people who are themselves, like purely. I don't think cool is a thing. It's not like a thing. I can't point at something and be like, that is cool. That is cool, but that's not the reason why it's cool. Does that make sense? I think it's about ownership. I feel like being cool or having that essence is being true to yourself. I feel like that's where that cool shit comes from. I feel like people latch onto that. People latch onto the idea of like that cool actually is something, but really it's just people being themselves and being like unremorseful for it. You know what I'm trying to say? That someone like Ashley and someone like Jen, I'm glad you mentioned them because they're that's my blood. You know what I'm trying to say? So being around people like that is also an extension of that as well. Like when someone else likes something and you like it as well, and then you can actually talk about it and discuss it and actually adapt on it, I feel like that's when you find your coolness. Does that make sense? I always say this to Ashley as well. Like there's a time, especially with fashion, where these circles, they go around, they go around, and they go around, and they go around, and it's like at some point in time, there's you're gonna find something in this circle where you stop, and that is you now. You know what I mean? Because me and Ash always joke about it. Like, do you reckon we're gonna be like 60 years old, like wearing Supreme or going to the Supreme store still? And I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm saying, unless Supreme do some mad shit that I'm not fucking with anymore. But yeah, I will be going to the Supreme store at 60 years old. Inshallah, I will be pushing my buggy with my ute in it, wearing Carhartt and dripped out like with the latest kicks on at 70. And man are like, how have you got those? And I'm like, what do you mean? I've been doing this for fucking 50 years, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then I realized, yes, that is possible because now I'm going around my day and I see people who are like 60, 70 years old and they're wearing fly shit than me, or what I think is fly. And I'm like, bro, like, and when you really, one time I did actually ask a man, like, what's it that you do? And he's like, oh, like, I'm just like, I think he owned like a bakery or something like that. But the stuff that he was wearing, like, it was only, like, you'd only wear that if you really knew what was up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I started diving into it. And he's like, yeah, like, I used to, like live in Devon. I was a skateboarder for a bit, like, rare. And I'm like, yeah, no, see, that's that cool shit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like coolness tells a story too.
Yeah.
Like, the level of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with age as well. Like, if you're bare old and bare cool, like, you've probably had a wild life. You know what I mean? Probably seen a lot of shit, met a lot of people, done a lot of things. So yeah, I think cool to me is like it's a outwardly, like, I don't give a fuck. That's cool to me, man. I'm wearing what I'm wearing. I'm dressing how I'm dressing. I look how I look. That's cool, man.
Yeah. To be honest, like when I asked you, I had my own answer, and then it was basically that. It's just about being like owning who you are.
Yeah, unapologetically.
Yeah, regardless of your, a cool looking guy like Cas, or if you're just like an autistic kid that likes like fucking Warhammer like figurines and like, do you know what I mean? If you're just that's cool.
And that's a funny you say that, because a lot of things stem from that. Like, a lot of things have stemmed from, okay, cool people, quote unquote, make uncool things cool. You know what I mean? Like someone like Lil Uzi Vert or something. He's now like this, like, I wouldn't say he's now like, I don't know him, but he's now like this like emo grunger type bro. Like, when I was younger, that man was not cool, bro. You know what I mean? That man used to get terrorized, run out the ends, like, maybe even like, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not even gonna say too much on a podcast. You know what I'm trying to say? But like, yeah, that shit was not cool, innit? That shit was weird to man. Like, and I have to be honest with myself. I can't sit here and say that shit was cool. That shit was not cool. Like, being like a grunger, listening to like Slipknot, like, that shit was not cool. Like, in my demographic, that wasn't cool. That was lame. Like, you're weird for that. The older you get now, you realize, Korn, Slipknot, Nirvana, these men are wavy breads, fam. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but when you're young, you're always trying to like, so much of your, especially as a guy, I feel like so much of like your personality is just about trying to not impress your boys.
Yeah.
But like
feel accepted.
Yeah,
that's what it
feel
is.
accepted. That sometimes mean not accepting other people.
Yeah.
And kind of like shitting on other people. Like kind of like the whole emo thing. Like when you're young, you're like, fuck them. They look weird.
They're weird. They're weird, bro. You man just out in the park skating, sweating up the place. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what the fuck you lot doing?
And then you grow up and you're like, well, skating.
And then one of my like close dogs, man, like Curbs, yeah. That's like one of the breads who I met on that like transition of like being this, like, I don't know, do you know what I'm trying to say? Being on the ends, like doing endsy shit, and then actually like stepping over to the other side and realizing that, like, you're just actually like man, but you're not from where I'm from, but you... Okay. Let me say this very carefully, yeah? When you live in a poverty area or council estate, and there's bare different people, Turkish youths, Asian youths, black youths, white youths, there's a point in that time where you actually don't see that. You don't see like, he's white, he's black, he's Asian, because we're all going to the same chicken shop, we're all shopping in the same JD, we're all wearing the same tracksuit, we're all saying the same words, we're all busting the same jokes, we're all rossing the same pack, yeah? And then you get to a point where you actually understand, like, you actually have your own culture. You actually come from somewhere, you know? You actually have your own people. And then I feel like when you get to the age of like 16, 17 to like 18, where you actually start dwelling in that, and people come out of their shell because they feel like, I've been accepted now. Now it's time for me to look back and actually, like, that happened to me as well. Like, I'm from Barbados, and so I'm half Bayesian and half just British. Battersea. My mom's from Battersea. So I'm half Battersea, half Bayesian, yeah? And then I realized, like, as I was growing up, like, how my identity changed because of that, how I was viewed. But then what I actually am, like, for a lot of time of my life, people just thought I was black. Not if they didn't think I was mixed race. Do you know what I mean? And that was like an identity crisis as well for a little bit. Okay, I keep using that word a lot. Maybe that should be the title of this thing, identity crisis, yeah? But it's like, so when you're going around a lot of people in the different groups, I don't feel like you understand, like, the power of, like, what you're actually around. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like as I've got older, I've realized the power of that, like power of culture, the power of being around different people, the power of actually understanding who you are, because that can breed like a lot of crazy cool stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I feel like that's where I feel like that's what like people of older generation need to start submitting down to the younger generation, is just like be accountable for your culture, innit? And like actually provide for your people. You know what I mean? Don't worry about too much about like fitting in, or because there's always someone else who thinks just like you. There's always someone else who dresses like you, even if you can't see them. With the internet, it's very powerful to like create this unity of people, innit? And I feel like that's what I'm trying to do with. That's what I've all trying to do. That's why we started Life is Club in the first place. Like because it's a batch of solid people, innit? I've known these people for 15 years plus. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't even start Life is Club. I didn't even start it. It's actually called I Live Life when I was like knowing about it. And then when I kind of like got involved or whatever with it, it just became like something that I was like, I really, really fuck with. We all have the same morals. We all have the same principles. We all think the same, but we're all from different places as well. Like some of us are Caribbean, some of us are African, some of us are from just all over the place, but we all believe in the same thing, and that's like wavy shit. You know what I mean? And I feel like that helps a lot with a lot of things. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but I feel like it makes sense. Yeah. Gang. Anything else you got for me?
Not really.
Anything else you want to talk about? What do you want to discuss?
That's it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we covered a lot of good stuff, actually. Yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah,
it's been a good one. You feel good?
Feel
all right?
I feel amazing, man.
Yeah.
I feel amazing. Yeah, man.
All right. Sign up.
You're done already. Cas Jones, Life is Club to the world and back. You're done now.
Nice.